Mike Still for the Sideline Showdown here with Grant Park High School head coach Doug Kovacs. Doug, how are you doing today?
I'm awesome, man. Thanks for coming down here today. We really appreciate it. This is exciting stuff. I want to just say that it's the way you're featuring amateur football is important here, and I think this is going to be a great opportunity for us to showcase our program and the good things we're doing, and just high school football in general. It's the best league in the province. So,
thank you very much. Couldn't agree more. I mean, this is my alma mater, and I hate to put, not to remind people too much, but I still rock the ring. Only ring that the schools won to this point in terms of like the Division 1, 2, 3 system. So it's always nice to come back home and chat with you and get things going. I want to start with your coaching history, though. You've been around the block a couple times. You're not new to this. For the viewers at home that maybe don't know about your coaching background, Doug, maybe tell them where you started and how you got to the point where you're at Grant Park now.
Well, after playing for Brian Doby, I graduated and I went to coach at Calvin for 2 years. And we won the provincial championship, beating St. Paul's in the semis and Oak Park in the final. And after that, I went down. I coached Division 2 down in North Dakota and Minnesota for a couple years. And then I wanted to come back and have a family. So I ended up getting hired at Sisler, and I was there for 10 years. We have the dubious record of going to 4 straight championships like the Buffalo Bills, but not winning it. It was tough. But, I mean, we took a lot of those models there. And then after 10 years, I felt like as offensive coordinator, I needed to take the head coaching role. And when this job opened up, Mike Kennedy brought me down and we interviewed. And since then, we've taken off. I've been at Grant Park now. I guess this is my 8th year. Jesus, it moves fast.
Time flies.
Yeah, it does. But I mean, it was a great decision. I was at Sisler, and I felt like we'd done a lot of good things. We'd put 3 teams on the field in every season, and we had over 150 kids in the program. And when we came out here, we wanted to bring that model here. But it's a little bit of a smaller school, so it's tough to get 3 programs going. But I was just thinking, like you said, when you played here, I mean, when I first got here, it was a little bit, there's only 40 kids in the program between the 2 schools, and you used to practice out there.
Yeah.
We called it the Serengeti. It was so hot. When we got here, this is the first thing we built was this practice field over here because it's got trees and shade and you can actually move a little bit. But Jesus, when you practice out there, I remember I was sunburned every day. So you had to be tough to play Grant Park back then.
That's for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that sort of came into the program when you came along, Doug, and I was thankful to be able to be. I was a senior when you came in as your first year, and we made that run all the way to the championship. But I think one of the big things that you helped to cement, something that Mike had already done, but a little bit more, was a culture. Understanding that when you came into the program, there was an expectation that you needed to meet as a player, and that's something that you've continued to carry along. And let's talk about size. You mentioned it a little bit. We are the smallest, or excuse me, not we. Grant Park is the smallest Division 1 school. Describe to me how you stay competitive at the Division 1 level with less numbers.
Well, school-wise, we're just over 500. It's not a lot of kids, so you've really got to bang the hallways. But, I mean, it comes from an attitude. You don't want to, be in that race for the bottom, right? You want to bring on the competition. That's always been our philosophy. Bring on the competition. We're going to take on the big schools like Sisler and Massey. The premier school in River Heights. I don't want to be that school that sits around. And we played Division 2, and when we got good, the games weren't as competitive. You want to have that buzzsaw, bring out the best in you. And if you have that, the kids are going to have that. I don't want to be in the games where you win, 50-0. They're not fun, Those are stats. And stats aren't fun, right? I mean, you want to be competitive, and that's why we get tracked a lot of kids too. I always talk about River Heights takeover. You want to be the best, you come here because we're going to work it out all year. And then as for, like you said, about culture, it comes from hiring good people. When I got here, we moved to a whole new coaching staff. We brought in guys that want to coach at the top level, want to put in the time. We run an all year round football program, so not just, August like now and through the season. You get weight training all year round because that fits in our philosophy. You've got to be strong, and we don't do it to get big. It's just injury prevention. And then it's that culture of spring football. We're going to work it. We do the flag football through the winter, and we've been in the championship there a couple times, and then the training over the summer. I mean, you've got to get everybody on board all the time and stay in contact with your athletes too.
Certainly, some great points you brought up there, Doug, and I really want to stick on one of those points, and that's the relationship that you get with your players, and really making sure that they know that you're not just a football coach, but also just a mentor to these guys. How valuable do you find the mentorship aspect of things, and really getting to know your players and relating to them? Because even in I saw you earlier just down in the locker, sort of talking to the guys, and yeah, just almost like a buddy, almost like a friend type situation. So yeah, I mean, why is that so important to you, being able to just relate to your guys and yeah, treat them as friends, and but also make sure that they know that there's something of a culture that they need to withhold?
Well, you can't just go up to a kid and chew them out, right? You got to develop a relationship, right? This is a relationship business, right? So, I mean, we do a leadership class all year, right? And they have to volunteer to come at lunch hour. So you spend time just talking about job skills and leadership skills and being a captain and that. And then when you meet with these kids, right, you can have that you're not doing the right thing. Like, I just call it coming to Jesus, but really it's just getting on the right path, right? Just do the right thing. It's easy if you got a relationship with the kid, but if you only talk to him when he does something wrong, I tell our coaches, and they know this too, they're not going to play for you if they don't love you. So you got to make them love them, and you got to love them back, right? So, that's just one of our things in our program. We really try to emphasize that the brotherhood is here, and that's just with these guys, that's staying in touch with alumni, having kids, like you can look around here, we've got kids that played for us that are just out watching, you keep that family atmosphere going, they feel like it, and I think it's just important that, yeah, I am kind of, I joke around with them a little bit, but there's a fine line. Like, I make them adhere to the Pirate football code at all times, and, you keep the standards. Don't lower your standards ever. Raise it. They'll meet the expectation. But if you start making excuses or you lower that bar, that's when discipline falls apart. So, I mean, we ask our kids to do a lot.
We see out here, just mentioning alumni, we see Mike Garfield, one of the alumni, is a coach out here, Christoph Hasselfield, another alumni. So it is nice to see those kinds of connections. Let's talk about the team this season and what Grant Park is bringing to the table, both at the varsity and at the junior varsity level. Let's start at the junior varsity level. This is a team that made it to the championship last season, and there are players that had the option to move up. I'm thinking of Kyle Watts specifically, but wanted to stay down at the JV level and really bring that home. What does that say about the culture that you've cemented, that these guys have that brotherhood? They want to stay and play at that JV level and finish what they started.
Well, it's interesting. We don't have a lot of grade 10s that play varsity, so I don't know if I'd have given them the option. You have to be a pretty special kid. Like, Kyle is a special kid. He probably could play varsity if we need him, but we don't allow JV kids to play varsity if they have JV eligibility unless they can start. And I mean, it's better to have them with their peers, right? You develop that bond. But I mean, you're right. Kyle Watts is a special player. Donovan Dobson's made the jump to varsity because he's ready, and he's a 10th grader. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, JV culture is pretty cool. Those guys are just, it's still fun to play football. When varsity, it can become sometimes a business with these guys. It's a little more. I coach JV in the spring, and it's fun just to hang out because you do a lot of teaching. That goes to Mike Kennedy, though, and Derek Matweetchuk and Coach Schuler. They just cultivate a good relationship with the kids down there. And then that's been building, right? Like, we visit all the schools in our area, and that's what gets the kids to come out. We're not going to go outside our catchment area. We get our kids around here. And then just have them come in because they've all played cordon together, or they all played soccer together, hockey, baseball, whatever. So, you try and keep that group together. But I think Mike does a great job of keeping everybody together. And that's why you see our numbers growing at JV.
And the varsity level, we've got a solid mix of those 10s that are now moved up to 11 and hungry to bring home a championship, and a core group of grade 12s that are also here and will be impact, obviously, playmakers. What are you looking for from the varsity level this season? A year after, maybe what I would consider probably a rebuilding year for the program. Yeah, what are you looking for this year from your varsity team?
Yeah, we're I guess, I don't know. We never call rebuild, just reload. We were in tough last year. We got banged up pretty good, and we lost a lot of close games. But this year, our goal every year is just to win the conference and get in the playoffs, and then from there, we just want to catch lightning in a bottle and go. I don't talk to these guys about, certain goals like championships and trophies and rings and stuff like that. That'll take care of itself if you do all the little things right. And I mean, that's what we're doing right now. I expect us to be very physical on offense. we've changed quite a bit from what we've done over the years. We have some, real lanky quarterbacks that can throw the ball right now in the program. Our offensive linemen are more built for pass protection, and we're going to see them. I want to feature our kids. I think one of the best things we do over the years is play defense, and I think we're going to have another really good defense. Coach Matwichuk has done a really good job over the years of not trying to fit a round peg in a square hole. He makes a round hole to put the round peg in. He's done it great. And Coach McFarland, has done a great job of that too. I mean, we focus on defense every day, and that's what they've been doing. I think, we're going to have a very good defensive front. They've been, beating up on everybody here this fall so far, so I look for that to keep coming up, right? We'll find out on Thursday at IGF when we play Garden City. So
the saying goes, offense wins games, defense wins championships, and we'll see if that rings true again this year. Thanks so very much for your time, Doug. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.